Hey there, my name is Rebecca Black and I am the Bexa Boss Lady. Thank you so much for joining me today. Happy Friday to all of you. And I just wanted to briefly do a shout out and thank everyone who commented yesterday on my emotional breakdown at the post office video. Your support means the world to me, and I am so grateful to all of you, and to know that I am helping you while you are also helping me is just a tremendous feeling. So I just wanted to say thank you before I started out this video about Poshmark. And since I just did that, let's get started on Poshmark. What do you do when someone opens a case on you? So I'm just gonna quickly kind of take you through the steps and what I feel is the best practice for this, what usually happens, etc. So you sell an item on Poshmark. You have it listed, you have the details in the listing, you send it to them, and then a few days later you realize through an email, Poshmark will send you an email and say that the buyer has opened a case and review. Now I just got one of these, and I will tell you, out of 500, I think I'm at 547 sales right now on Poshmark. I have had 4 cases open and 1 case won where the person returned the item to me. So if you are taking the time to describe your items very adequately, accurately, making sure you're listing any flaws, all the measurements, you should be protected on Poshmark as a seller. So if the person buys the item, and one of the reasons I love Poshmark is because of this, they buy the item, you ship it to them, and if they have 3 days from the date that the package was delivered to accept it. And then once that time has passed, they are unable to open a case and they're unable to return it. So if they don't open your item within those 3 days and inspect it, then they lose the opportunity to return the item. And oftentimes I find that that is what ends up happening, is that it's not accepted before, and then it sits, I don't know, in their mailbox or somewhere, and then it ends up just being automatically delivered and sent. The money goes into my account and I don't ever have to worry about it again. So that is one of my favorite things about Poshmark. Now, one of my least favorite things is people's ability to open a case on you for a wide variety of reasons. And I know that there are some people out there who have been scammed, or that people have claimed them not as described and they have destroyed them themselves, or whatever the case may be. And that certainly does happen, but that happens anywhere. That happens on eBay, on Mercari, on anywhere you buy stuff. It's possible, eBay, that they buy it, destroy it, and then say they got it in that condition. So, that comes with this territory. That is just, unfortunately, some people do that. So that's the case, how it may be. Now, if your item is over $500 and is a designer item, it gets shipped to Poshmark headquarters. They authenticate it and then send it on to the buyer. So that is something that they provide free of charge if you sell something on there over $500, which I think they probably should, because they're taking 20% of that. So, I guess that's a benefit for buying a large purchase or selling a large purchase on there, that you get their Poshmark guarantee. But I'm going to give you an example of what has just happened to me, and actually I will tell you what happened to the one that was returned on my end as well, the only one that I've actually had returned back to me. Let's start with that one. So I sold a jean skirt, and I had the measurement across the waist and down the side. I sent it to the person, and they reported that it was 1.5 inches off on the waist, and they allegedly provided photos to Poshmark of the difference in the measurements. So I lost the case. This person shipped the skirt back to me, and lo and behold, I measured it again to relist it, and it is the exact measurement that I listed it as. So I don't know if she puckered the back of it to make it look like maybe it just didn't fit her, or she didn't like it, and she puckered the back and took a photo of the tape measure across it, showing it's a lesser inch, measurement than it was. I don't know, but I know that my details were correct and adequate, and I got the item returned to me. So that was frustrating, but I ended up selling it for more on Poshmark, or on eBay anyway, so I wasn't that upset about it. Now, this item that I currently have an open case on were a pair of flip-flops that did not have a size on them, and I tried them on. I'm a 6.5. They were large on me, but not significantly larger on me. So I put a custom size in Poshmark for a 7.5 to an 8.5 size range. And then to cover my bases, I even included the length of the shoe. I measured the length of the flip-flop from the heel to the toe, and I specifically put in there that I was unsure of the exact size, and I included all of the measurements. Now, this case just got opened yesterday. I did respond to their message. So when you log on and it says your case is in review, the email that they send you has more information in it than the app does. So if you want to know why they are putting your case in review, you have to go into your email account and read it and see what it says in there. Then you can go back and provide a rebuttal. I have even had a case denied for a buyer, and I made the mistake. It was a pair of shoes. They were a size 13. I'm sorry, excuse me. They were a size 13, and I had the 13 size in the title. I had the 13 size in the description, and I accidentally, in the drop-down box, did a size 10. So that was definitely my mistake. However, it was very clear in the description and the title what size those shoes were. And so if someone would have said, hey, those aren't, you have a mistake, I would have corrected it immediately. But Poshmark did decline that return in my favor because I did have it described everywhere else. So I definitely will be curious to see what Poshmark has to say about this case in review. And I'll update you and just, let you know what happens there. But the best way to protect yourself on Poshmark is to adequately and accurately describe everything you can about that item, because that is what they base your buyer's ability to return the item. That's what they base it on. So if you don't have that information in your listing, in that description, then they are gonna side with the buyer, even if you didn't send it to them in that condition. So anyway, then the person will send it back, and the money will be, once you get it back and you accept that item back into your possession, that money goes back out of your held money and goes back to them. So that is what happens when you have a case in review on Poshmark. Now, I have heard that they have approved things and not approved things in a not consistent order. I am very disappointed in Poshmark's customer service. I think it's terrible. I believe they should have a 1-800 number to call, or some line for people to be able to call with problems and issues. I think that's one of the biggest flaws and problems on their app, is that it takes days and days and days to get an answer from their customer service. I had the last case that I won, it took 3 weeks to get resolved. So I had a $40 item. I won it and my money was released. But then, so you have an item that you sell, it usually takes 3 or 4 days to get to them, plus 3 weeks for a case to be in review. I think that's completely unacceptable. Like, that just blows my mind that they are operating on that kind of a turnaround. I think it's outrageous. But anyway, it is what it is, and we all continue to give them our 20%, so we have to learn how to roll with the punches on that. But I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what happens when a person puts a case in review and what you can do to protect yourself. The other thing, one last thing before I let you go, I do keep all of my photos of all my items on my computer or my phone until that item is completely sold, because I want to make sure that I always have that evidence and those photos back with me to be able to submit them for further review in case something were to happen or I need to go back and reference something. So that's just something that I do. You don't have to do that, but you know, I find that it's very helpful. And then once it's done and out and accepted, I will go back and delete all of those pictures. So I hope this helps with you and finding it that you have a case and review or a return on Poshmark. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'd love to answer them. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.